All right, and this is my last person that I'll be introducing today, and I'm very excited to introduce them as well. A fellow Ohioan. Lilah, are you online?
She is there.
Yes, she is.
Yeah.
Here she is. Hello, Lilah. How are you?
Hi, I'm doing good. How are you?
Very well. Full disclosure, Lilah and I live in the same state, and I have been both a judge and a mentor to Lilah in the Ohio Invention Convention. So we have met multiple times. She's lovely and charming and extremely talented, and I am really looking forward to hearing what she has to say today. So, Lilah, do you want me to introduce you, or do you want to tell people just from the gate what you're going to do today? Up to you.
I can introduce myself if that's okay.
Do it. I believe in you.
Okay. Hi, my name's Lilah Yeager. I live in Perry, Ohio, which is a little town outside of Cleveland. And ever since I was little, I've known I wanted to be a doctor, and I've wanted to help people with everything that they were going through. And so now I decided to help little kids understand what's going on in the world with the pandemic. So I decided to write a book called The Adventures of Aubrey and the Virus to help kids understand what's going on in the world. So that way they're not too scared to leave the house and they'll just stay in their bedrooms, and they're not too uninformed that they'll go out and play with their friends and touch them and end up getting sick themselves. So this was kind of my solution to help people now, and instead of waiting until I graduate med school and can help people then.
Cool. Very cool.
Do you have an example of the book there with you, Lilah, that you want to share?
So this is the book.
So this is published.
Yeah, it's published through Storyjumper, but we're working on getting a bigger publisher to help actually publish the book.
Oh my God!
I love the
sideways. Is that a virus on there?
Yeah, I like the little virus on there.
So this is a virus that you can move throughout the book to show how the germ spreads. So, for example, on one of the pages, you can see that they are wearing masks, so that way they can stay safe. But you can also see that the germ will attach here, so you can see where it is in its journey. So I wanted to have an interactive touch into this book, and that was my solution to help kids understand how the germ spreads.
Wow. Okay. How long did that take you to develop?
It took me about a month to write the book and get it printed to my house and to make the germ itself. I definitely struggled to write the book a little bit with writer's block and not knowing where I wanted to go with it, but eventually I kind of found what I wanted to do and how I wanted to do it. And once I started, I didn't want to stop. And it just felt so good to get it done and to help whoever needed it.
So was it difficult to find a publisher who would not only publish it, but put the Velcro in as well?
Right now we're working on finding a publisher, and Storyjumper went through and published the book, and we put all the Velcro in there and attached the germ to it and made the germ itself. So it might be difficult to find a publisher willing to do that, but I'm hoping we can find somebody to do that for us.
Carmine, do you have children?
I do.
You had books that have like textures. They make kids books like that, right?
You know they do, but this is so innovative that you can switch it to each page, and it's so timely that it's amazing. I spoke with Lilah earlier about this, and it's amazing how I just love the little virus. Yeah, you get to move it through pages.
Virus is cool. It's very cool, Lilah.
Thank you.
You blew me away when I saw that.
Yeah, and I could see, some publishers taking their time because obviously the virus may be a timely thing, but it's also going to be around for a long time. So I could see the book being utilized for, many years to come, right?
I
Yeah.
think you should go out on a limb one step further, Lila, and not only talk about COVID, but also talk about hygiene and hand washing in general. Because kids always need, and Carmine will back me up, and you know this, Lila, kids hate to wash their hands before they eat or do anything, right? So, I mean, it's just a quick pivot, which every good innovator knows you need to be able to do. You need to be able to turn on your idea and do something else. And I know you know this because I've had this exact conversation with you, and you've told me exactly what you would do. So you can't hide. I know you're a genius, and I know you're already thinking about this. So, I mean, I agree with Carmine. Find the publisher that wants to be timely and needs a book that parents would buy to teach their kids about hygiene. What's the public think? YouTube, if you're following on this, post a comment and we'll get to it. But what do you think, Lilah?
I definitely think that kids do need a little help understanding that they do need to wash their hands before they eat and after they go to the bathroom so they don't get other people sick. And a way I explain that in the book is glitter. If you have one speck of glitter, it could go on anybody else. And if the glitter was the germ, it could get the other person sick. And I felt like that was a very good way to understand, for kids to understand that that's kind of how germs spread. And it's very easy for them to spread.
Yes.
Hey,
Wow.
Lila, real quick, I know that had a lot of proofreaders. Like, while everyone was stuck in the house, you were able to utilize the time to kind of corner proofreaders, probably to help you in the house. Have you have any groups or people that you've gone and read the book to, or done any readings, or letting other children read the book and getting any feedback?
Yeah, I let my sister read the book. I let my younger cousins read the book virtually because they all live a little bit further away. But we got to send them a virtual copy, and even my sister's younger friends that live in our neighborhood got to read it, and they all really enjoyed it, which made me very happy that they understood now why this was all happening.
Yeah, yeah. And it's a great feeling to have something printed, something you worked on. I mean, when you hand somebody a book, they don't realize the time that goes into it, right?
Right.
No, they don't, do they, Lilah? I can only imagine. I can only imagine, my dear.
You're giving a part of yourself when you give somebody a book that you wrote. You're hoping obviously they like it, but you put your mind into that, part of yourself into that. It's so cool that you've done that at such a young age. Do you have plans to maybe write any other books or any other kinds of subjects?
Yeah, I definitely plan on doing this for future invention conventions and helping kids understand different topics like, washing their hands, so proper hygiene, or even bullying or something like that, so they can understand the world. And by the time they get to somebody my age or older, they can understand all these things on a better level, so that way they're not confused whenever they're older as well.
Yeah.
Great.
I agree. It's great that you noticed that, because there is a real nervousness with young kids, because they really don't know what's happening, and putting it into a book form, and like you said, the little virus that they could play with and move around. It definitely, I could see it helping them, calming them down, or just saying, okay, well, we could learn what to do.
Yeah.
Lilah, I think you should do one on fear of failure and why failure is actually a useful thing. I think you'd be perfect.
It's a really good idea. Thank you.
All right.
It's like
So, what's that?
a book is like an invention. You think of a book, you have to go through the prototyping, you have to go through, make sure it works, and let people look at it, colors, and the proofreading itself. When I did my book, I'm such a bad speller that the proofreading took forever.
Oh, yeah, indeed. Well,
Yeah,
thank
so,
you.
Jake, you have a question or anything?
No, I think I'm okay.
No, very good. The other part is the children's book industry, and not saying that it's a bad thing, but you are able to make money with books. The children's book industry is really, really growing industry, and I love to see children with books in their hand. You know, I use audio books and things like that, but I love to have a book in my hand, so it's kind of great that you've picked that age group even to write other books. It's a great industry.
It is truly a great, I mean, that's a great opportunity.
Yeah, it really is. You know, so when the Today Show calls you to bring your book on, you know, make sure we, you know, to throw in our name, we mentioned it.
I'm
So,
chatting with
cool.
right now. Sorry.
No.
People are
What are they doing on YouTube? Anything happening there, Jim?
Yeah, people are, Lilah, across the board, people are just loving you for your empathy and the fact that you wanted to connect on a very human scale or way with kids. They love the idea of a book on failure. Everyone's going nuts on that, by the way. That's somewhere to go. And bullying. And you mentioned bullying already. So both of those are really hot on YouTube right now. No specific questions because everyone knows that you're doing something that's never been done before, and that's never easy. But yeah, I don't think you're going to give up anytime soon. So I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
Yeah, and Lilah, you could do some virtual book readings if you wanted to just put it out there on social media that you're going to do a book reading for young children and you could read your book and get them interested. And then when it is published, they could probably buy it, or even local libraries are probably doing virtual book readings or virtual meetings. You know, and again, just to build up interest in the book, I think that it's a great service. I think, you know, just getting the book out there and I don't know about you guys or Jim, but Lilah read a few pages of her book on a podcast we did, and she was great. So yeah, I think she had a great voice to read through it.
I think you have two opportunities here, Lilah. One, taking Jake's advice and doing an audio digital version of your book, but also selling the virus so that kids can listen to the audiobook and have the virus, but they don't necessarily need the book. And the virus is just theirs. And they need to identify with both the potential danger and reality of this virus. And if it could stick to their coat, that would be amazing. Can you imagine reading the book and sticking it in places, and places that it doesn't stick are clean, places where it does are not? And just getting them to realize that. Think outside the box. This is where you thrive. As I've known you for the last couple of years, this is where you thrive. So there's some really interesting ideas here that you need to think on.
Lilah's like, oh my God.
I know, like, I just wanted to talk about it. I learned an entire new strategy on invention. Well, welcome to life. Lilah, thank you very much.